Hello beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda Sarai and I am so excited to dive into today's beautiful energies. We are in the midst of the 777 gateway, the freedom gateway, the 777 portal. The Sirius Stargate is open, and I don't know about you, but I have been experiencing signs and synchronicities off the charts. So tomorrow, Friday, 777, because this is a 7-year, we have so many beautiful light codes pouring in, and they are coming through the Sirius Gateway. So I'm going to dive into all these energetics, and this is a follow-up from my previous video, so you can tune into that video as well if that feels aligned. But this really deserves a whole separate video, especially talking about the energetics of Sirius and what it is, why it's so important and potent, and why this particular 7-7 portal is so extra important for us as well, and powerful, very powerful, and how to really align with these energies. So I have a lot of notes today because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. There's a lot to be said about Sirius and this particular gateway. I will share the overview. I won't share every single detail that exists, of course, but to really get grounded in why this is so important and what it means for us. So there are a lot of freedom frequencies pouring in. This is very much about liberating ourselves from scarcity, from lack, from feelings of unworthiness. So I just tuned in, and something else that wanted to be shared before I went live, I was like, oh, this is delayed for a reason. They wanted me to share about the root chakra. The color red has been coming into my field so much in the past few days, and it makes perfect sense because what we are doing is creating a new foundation for ourselves that starts within. So we're releasing insecurity and instability. We're internalizing our sense of security and stability so that it begins from within, that unshakable foundation from within. And this very much connects to the root chakra. So I had all sorts of signs and synchronicities coming through in the form of the color red. And that helped me to share this message in this video as well. I was delayed because the neighbors were cutting down a tree and the blower kept going, the chainsaw and the blower. I was like, okay, when is this gonna be done? But when I went outside, I saw a bright red bug, and then I found out it was a plum tree they cut down. There were all these hundreds of beautiful little plums on the ground, these bright little red gems lying there. So, and I did take some. I was a little sad about the tree, but it is what it is, not my choice, right? But we received this message, of course. So this is very much about freedom, this energy that's coming through, freeing ourselves from the shackles of limitation, the shackles of fear, of self-doubt, of unworthiness. So we're freeing our minds, but more importantly, our hearts. And our souls are now receiving the opportunity to spread their wings. And that ties into another synchronicity, which I will get into. Everything just ties in together so, so beautifully. It weaves is probably the better term for it. We are weaving a beautiful quilt, and we don't know what the final outcome is going to be, but it's going to be more beautiful than we can imagine as we allow these threads of frequencies to move through us, to weave our destiny, I suppose you could even say. So, you know, if you've been seeing aligned numbers lately in particular, this is also a sign that you are attuning more and more to the New Earth energies. They're sharing all these messages like hold the faith. A lot of us have been feeling like we're in a holding pattern, and you're not alone if you've been feeling that. So this is signs and guidance from above that we are on the right path to hold the faith, keep the trust, and we are about to be broken free. We're about to be able to spread our wings more fully. So trust, stay in alignment with the frequencies, stay in alignment with trust, because that's why they keep sending all these messages. It's like literally constant aligned numbers. Every single number, it seems, or every other one at the minimum feels like an aligned number. So yeah, so what else do we have to say about Sirius? So I'm going to get into the signs and synchronicities later, but first, this is really important. It always comes into alignment in the first week of June. Sun aligns with Sirius. Our sun aligns with Sirius, which is considered to be our spiritual sun. So Sirius is 23 times brighter than our sun, and we can look at it as the sun is the one that warms our body, that activates and awakens our body codes, that helps us to heal and stay grounded and anchored into the light, I suppose you could say. And Sirius is like our soul sun, our spiritual sun. It's the one that warms our soul and awakens our soul codes. So when the sun comes into alignment with Sirius, it's at 14 degrees of Cancer in the tropical zodiac. Apparently every year this happens. So this week is always a portal of amplified energetics and attunement to our soul codes that are coming through for us. But this year it's extra amplified, of course, because it's the 777 portal, so amplifying it by 3, the Holy Trinity, a very powerful spiritual number in itself. 7 plus 7 plus 7 adds up to 21, which is also a 3 number. So it's not just that there are 3 sevens, it's amplified by 3 on many profound levels. So 7 represents, the 7 days of creation, 7 days of the week, the 7 chakras of the body. It is the gateway between the 6th and the 8th. So the 6th is, 6 is connected to matter and life, creation here on earth, and 8 is what connects us above to our soul codes. So 7 is the gateway, our crown chakra. So when we activate our crown, when we open it up to receive the codes, we are anchoring in the frequencies into earth. Those higher soul codes are getting activated. So it's really a powerful gateway this particular year, because it is then again is amplified by 3, and coming off of the 6/6 portal and the solstice energies, which really carried in the divine union and new earth codes. We are really at a pivotal point in humanity, because the new earth frequency templates, the new earth codes, have been anchored into the blueprint, into the template of the earth herself. And so now we as a collective, the star season, lightworkers and empaths and healers, however you identify, the people on this ascension path are really getting activated to another level right now. So our gifts may be coming online. You may be experiencing more subtle examples of telepathy. I will be creating a little video on that soon. My experiences with that. Clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, all the clairs, and beyond. Who knows? Our intuition is heightened, and that's a huge aspect of this portal as well. And that's why the signs and synchronicities are coming into our field, so that we do tune into our intuition and stay in alignment with that. So it is also Sirius is connected very deeply with the ancient cultures, ancient spirituality, shamanistic cultures, Egypt in particular. So many of the cities and monuments were built in alignment with Sirius, and this is especially true, I know, in Egypt, where I have been to most of the primary temples along the Nile there, including the pyramids, of course. So most of them were constructed in alignment with Sirius, and Isis, one of the primary deities of Egyptian, ancient Egypt, she is the winged goddess, queen of heaven and queen of earth, but also has 1,000 other names. Anyway, she is supposed to be Sirian herself. She's supposed to be of Sirius. So Sirius has two primary planets, Sirius A and B, and A is connected, I just saw 1022. Sirius A is connected to the felines and Sirius B is the water planet. So this is also bringing in the divine union, masculine and feminine energies. And the way I have connected it is that each planet, the water would be more the feminine energy. The planet represents, the two planets themselves represent the duality of the energy. And I just learned myself that there is technically a third Sirius planet C, Sirius C, which is an etheric planet, which we can't really see, which is an interesting concept, but it is apparently home to a lot of interdimensional beings. And I just saw this at 11:11. So the timing of me saying this within this video seems very aligned. So it must be true, right? When these numbers come through, they usually come through also at important moments in our day. So tune into what you've been thinking of, what else is going on in your field. You know, have you had any insights or intuitions come through right before you saw this aligned number, or maybe right after perhaps? Pay attention to the timing of seeing any signs and synchronicities in your field as well. So we have the angelics, the interdimensionals of all kinds. It's a ninth dimensional frequency planet. So very, very high dimensional. Unicorns, dragons, air and water elements, dolphins and whales are connected with it as well. Christ light and yeah, I think the dragon energy is really interesting because dragons have been coming through for me a fair amount recently. That dragon energy has been coming into my field in multiple ways. So it does feel, and unicorns as well are connected to this planet. So it's very whimsical, but that's another aspect of this journey of ascension, is one of enlightenment is another word, right? And I've said this before, I know, but enlightenment to me is the enlightening of our being, becoming lighter and lighter in our frequency, lighter and lighter in our body, our light body. But what does that also mean? A lightness of being, a joy, a kind of childlike innocence coming through. I have read this in multiple sources that there are some who see enlightenment as becoming, you know, people take spirituality so seriously, but really the journey of enlightenment is returning to that childlike, playful innocence, but it's a more grounded and embodied kind of innocence because you have integrated all the wisdom and now you realize we are meant to experience joy and fun and the lightness of being. So it's really actually quite beautiful when you tune into that energy. And yeah, so okay, birds, it's time to talk about the birds. So winged beings, Isis herself is a winged being, right? So birds have been coming into my field a lot recently, and this is, I just spoke with a friend earlier and who's on this path as well, and she said that is interesting. I shared that with her because they've been coming into her field as well, and she spoke to another one of our friends recently who had the same response to her. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many birds lately. So birds are considered to be messengers from the angelic realms in particular. And I've been seeing birds of all forms in physical and in other ways coming into my field, like in images. And, you know, her brand is a hummingbird, and hummingbirds have been in my field quite a lot. And eagles and red cardinals for me personally, just like everywhere. So it's been really interesting. But birds of all forms, I had an incident the other day, a sequence of events, let's call it that, where I'm just gonna tell you it gets better. I was going on a walk and I took a different route than normal. The last second, I was like, cross the street and go up this way. Okay. And within moments, a dead bird was right there in the middle of my path. And at first I was like, oh gosh, what does this mean? Bad omen. Oh no, bad luck. But then as I walked by and I kept going, I pulled out my phone to look it up. I was like, I received an intuitive hit pretty much immediately. Completion, death of the old, end of the cycle, rebirth. And then I found a feather moments later from a healthy bird in the same path. And then at that point, the message had pulled up. The very first meaning that came up was aligned with my intuitive hit. So I took that as a good sign, and feathers have been guiding me around the world. So if you've been finding feathers, also messages from the angels. Sometimes it matters the color and of the birds as well. You don't even have to get that deep sometimes. Sometimes it's just a message of alignment, you're on the right path. But if there's a particular color or a particular type of bird, for example, that's coming into your field, then definitely look that up, because or a particular aligned number that comes up a lot for you. Absolutely look that up, because there's a specific message encoded in that for you. So soon after, I was sharing with my friend in the back of my, on my deck, and I was like, oh my gosh, and this also just happened. I saw the bird and then I found the feather. And as I was sharing this with her, 2 cardinals flew right above me, landed in the tree, and I was just watching them like, oh my gosh, I've never seen 2 cardinals together before. And they flew up, they were on the tree, and then they flew off together after a little while. And I was just relaying this in real time to her, like on a voice note. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. That has to have meaning. And then shortly after, I took a pause from my messages and I looked up, and there were 2 sets of 2 birds kind of flying by. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. So there are absolutely encoded messages for us all around us. The signs and synchronicities are absolutely here to guide us. So we are, again, in this portal, it's called a Stargate. I just want to presence that as well. And it's considered to be a portal to the gods, to the heavens, this Sirius Stargate itself. So there's a lot that's in here. It's connecting us directly to these higher dimensions. And when it comes to anchoring in heaven on earth, well, if Sirius is the portal to the heavens, of course, we're anchoring in heaven on earth codes right now in particular. Is the energetic to attune to and align with. So this is really, so when we increase our frequency, we experience timeline shifts, because our old timeline isn't aligned with the frequency we now hold. So a lot of us are going to be experiencing shifts in our external reality, endings, completions, but upcycling into a whole new way of being. So this quantum leap timeline shift idea is coming to the fore. Time is an illusion. If you're experiencing different things with time, that's very much a thing right now. So yeah, pay attention to all the things that are coming through. Yeah, so what else? So energetically speaking, this is really a time to express our true self. So the bird is not just about soaring, taking off and soaring to new heights. The bird also represents sharing our soul song, the bird song, right? So, and I just heard a little tweet right as I was saying that outside. So this is very much about expressing our soul's deeper truth. And what is that going to look like for you? Any kind of creative expression. So the energy of creation, freedom to create, is really, really strong right now. And this is very much rooted in in us releasing our disbelief of being able to have the life we want, and releasing the unworthiness, in gaining self-confidence, sovereignty, boundaries, boldness. So having the audacity to actually follow our dreams. So it's a powerful energy that's coming through right now. In action, there's a lot of action energy with all the red coming through, but also grounding down to earth, anchoring in our security through us, through these higher frequencies, anchoring them into earth to create an internal foundation of stability rather than externalizing our stability to outside sources, relying on XYZ investments or XYZ sources of income. Creating that foundation from within, knowing that we are the source. So that is what the new earth frequency of abundance is about. So what else? There's so much else. So this is, setting the part of us free that has always wanted to soar. What a beautiful way to look at it. So we're really being called to step forward in our power confidently and boldly, and to take action in the direction of that which is trying to be created through us, that is wanting to be created through us, that our soul wants to express into this world. So we all have gifts, and they're coming online and they're being activated within us. So if you're experiencing a little bit of a pivot, go with it. If it's just an expansion or blossoming of what you've already been working on, embrace it. Embrace this time to shine. This is the energy as well. So 7 is also, the 7-7 portal is also about the marriage of the soul and marriage to the soul and spiritual purpose. So this is, again, our true soul's destiny, our true soul's mission coming through. So we might be receiving a lot of clarity, intuitions, alignment, which ties into the synchronicities and signs that are coming in, and a lot of high heart activations and DNA upgrades to just, get really clear. This is what happens through the sun codes. Always, this is what's been happening for a while now, but this is of course going to be amplified as well. So this is the new earth template coming through. And yes, what I wanted to say before is that when I was typing out the Sirius A, B, and C notes for myself, Sirius C, when I thought about it, it was A and B are the merging of the masculine and the feminine and divine union, that twin energy. But then we have C. So where does that fit in? Holy Trinity. And we have, when I typed that, it was just an intuition that was coming through. It was 222 on the dot. So, and that's also the number of union, Holy Trinity energy coming through. 2 times 3, we have the 777 portal, which carries a very strong energy of 3 Holy Trinity. So this coming into my field just now about having this 3rd planet associated with Sirius, the etheric planet, this is really activating us into this divine union, Holy Trinity energy. We're transcending duality and entering the Trinity. So this is the shift in consciousness that is occurring right now. So it's so powerful. It's really incredible. So we are also upgrading and aligning our multidimensional chakra systems from the 7 to the, some people say 12, others say 13. And integration of the masculine and feminine. So yeah, again, there's just so much energy. So a couple other notes that I just want to share. So hummingbirds have been in my field, and they're very high vibrational, light, joyful, playful. So it's just another affirmation of that lightness of being that wants to be expressed. There's also a lot of Lyran energy. So Lyrans are connected to the birds. So if you are also seeing a lot of birds, there might be a message from the Lyrans for you, whether or not you associate as a Lyran starseed. Even, you know, a Sirian starseed or not, there are messages coming through for us from these planets, these planetary systems. And yeah, North Star. So that was the other message that wanted to come through, was that redbirds in particular are also associated with North Star and that feeling of home. So if redbirds have been coming through for you in any way, shape, or form, then this is something to really tune in with. So it's the direction north, the energy of home, but that home from within, that home frequency, following your North Star. So these are the powerful energetics that are coming through. And tomorrow I am going to, on the 777 portal, I'm going to be hosting a workshop, and it's called Worthiness, the Revolution. So we'll be working through, it's gonna be an experiential type experience, a little bit of sharing on my part to help us get grounded in the energies, but primarily we're going to actually be working through some of the worthiness layers that would keep us blocked. So the not good enough, the self-judgment, the self-blame and shame. So much of this, the way I perceive it, is rooted in unworthiness. So we're going to be digging into all of these energetics and then anchoring into our body these higher frequency codes. So we're going to do practices, embodiment practices, movement, journaling, and also I will be bringing through an activation. So on the 777 portal, it's going to be powerful to help us align with our higher self. So what dropped in was quite beautiful and powerful, and I'm really curious how the rest of it's going to come through. It was like, this is what it's going to center around, and the details have yet to come through, because often it just wants to come through right before or in the moment. So my New Earth frequency activation that came through on the solstice was very powerful as well. So you'll get automatic access to that. And this is because the idea is worthiness, and you are worthy no matter what. It's a sliding scale. So it starts at just $1, but the energy of investing is really important. So the value is high, but it starts at just $1 because I want people to be able to invest and signal to the universe that they feel worthy of receiving. So this is why, and I just trust that people will invest with integrity if you have the capacity to invest more, because that is, you know, there's a sliding scale, a suggested amount. If you have the capacity to do so, it offsets for everybody else, and the intention is that anything you do invest will be returned to you multiplied as well, signaling to the universe that you feel worthy, that you trust as well. These are the energetics that come through when we invest in ourselves monetarily, because money is an energy. So the value of free is awesome, and at the same time, we get more out of anything we actually invest in, because we still have this 3D layer of reality that we're working with at the same time. So if we can shift our relationship with money, then a lot will open up and unfold for us. So yeah, I have learned the hard way myself. But we're investing from a space of trust, not fear or scarcity. That is the key, right? So I'm sending you so much love. I really do hope to see you on the workshop if that feels aligned. It will, of course, be recorded for those who cannot join live, and it will be just as beautiful. So I will have the link below. If this resonates with you, I would so appreciate the like, subscribe, the comments. I would love to hear what has come up for you this week yourself, or recently, the kinds of signs and synchronicities you've been experiencing, and anything else that has come up for you listening to this video. So yes, thank you so much for being here, beautiful souls, onward and upward in love and light. I so appreciate you.